Hi guys, this is Perkins here. Today we're talking about Module 6, Lesson 2. In this lesson, we're talking about being able to use tape diagrams to solve comparing word problems. Now, in the last lesson, we talked about comparing word problems as well. These word problems are going to be a little bit different. Now, just to remind you again about tape diagrams, remember, a diagram is a picture with labels. So, a tape diagram is a math picture with labels. They label with a number and a letter. Okay, that's going to be super important. And whenever we're doing our tape diagrams, we know that we use circles and we could use X's. Most of the time I just use circles, but you could do circles for one part, X's for another part if you can. So now, looking at this, you know that we do RDW. We read, we draw, and then we write. So now, looking at this, it says, I'm going to read the word problem. Remember, I'm going to read it 2 times. So we have to ask ourselves first, are we adding or subtracting? And second, does the word problem tell us the whole? Now these are comparing word problems, so you have to think about what is going on. Okay, if you don't think about what's going on, you could get a little confused. Okay, you have to make that math movie in your brain. Okay, I know we did that a long time ago with making math movies, but you should still be doing that in your brain to kind of make that picture in your brain about what's going on. This will help you figure out if you're adding or subtracting and how you should solve it. Okay, so it says Rose wrote 8 letters. Nick wrote 4 more letters than Rose. How many letters did Nick write? I'm going to read it again. Remember, ask yourself those 2 questions. Are you adding or subtracting? And does the word problem tell you the whole? Rose wrote 8 letters. Nick wrote 4 more letters than Rose. How many letters did Nick write? Now, first thing, talking about if we're adding or subtracting. Well, looking at this, the last word problem that we did the last lesson, in the question it said, how many more? Well, that lets you know that we were having to subtract because we were having to find the difference. Well, here, we know that Rose had 8 letters. Well, Nick wrote 4 more letters than Rose. That means 4 more. This more is telling us that we have to add 4 more to that 8 to figure out how many Nick had. So, this one we do not know our whole, but we know that we have to add because Nick wrote 4 more than Rose. We have to figure out when we add 8 plus the 8 from Rose plus the 4 more that Nick has, we have to figure out how many does Nick have. That would be our mystery part. So 8 plus 4, we have to figure that out. So now, looking at this, I have to draw Rose's 8 letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to write the 8. This is for Rose. So I'm going to box in these 8 for Rose. And we know that Nick wrote 4 more letters than Rose. So this is Rose's 8. We have to now draw the 4 more that Nick had. So Nick had these 8 that Rose had plus 4 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the 4 more that Nick had. So that means Nick had Rose's 8. So he did 8 plus 4 more. So we have to figure out what is 8 plus 4. This is Nick's letters that he wrote. Well, we can count it. Some of you already know what 8 plus 4 is, or you can count on. You don't even have to use these circles. Okay? So looking at this, if you don't have to count the circles, great. You could either know that this is 8, and you could say, okay, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or you can count on your brain. Or if you need to, count all circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we know that Nick had 12. So 8 plus 4 equals 12. So we know that Nick wrote 12 letters. Alrighty guys, that's it for this video.